is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.
The Filipino American Cancer Care now brings you On the Air with FACC. Tributes and support to those impacted by cancer. On the Air with FACC. The Filipino American Cancer Care on PHLV Radio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Magandang gabi, Amerika. Magandang umaga, Pilipinas. Good morning, Philippines. My name is Josie Moralidad Azaiman from Alexandria, Virginia. And March is the Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Now, I would like to introduce to everyone, all the gentlemen, right now, sa PHLV Radio, from his area of responsibility. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Behind the camera, Johan. Palakpak. Okay. And again, ito na. Maskulado, may dimple, humahaba ang buhok. Walang iba kundi si Emerich Richie Vicente.
Hello everyone, good evening and good morning sa Pilipinas. Good evening everyone here in the United States.
There you go. And then, from his secret hideout sa bukid ng Virginia, walang iba kundi si Ed Logan.
Hello, thank you again. It's Friday. So thank God it's Friday. So again, it's an exciting night, the episode, and good morning sa Pilipinas. I'm so excited that Dan is joining us tonight. So can't wait to hear his story.
Yes. Again, welcome sa ating radio program On the Air with FACC, Filipino American Cancer Care. You know what, Ed and Emerich? A lot of people are asking me, kailan daw ang susunod nating event?
Oh my gosh, it's coming up.
Secret. Naka-vaccinate ka na ba? Nakakuha ka na ng vaccine, Emerich?
Yeah, I got my first dose. My second one is on the 31st.
What did you get?
I got Moderna.
And Ed?
I have some side effects. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. It's really good to have a vaccine, you know. Now, Ed, would you like to introduce our special guest tonight?
Yes. So tonight, it's my honor and my privilege to introduce Mr. Dan Drydock Shaklee. He's a retired Navy. Thank you for your service during the Operation Desert Storm, Enduring Freedom, and Iraqi Freedom veteran, of course. And he is currently an 8-year hereditary colon cancer warrior. Permanent.
Just like us.
And he's retired with in the Navy, and then he traveled around the world. He lived in Hawaii. He originally from Pennsylvania, and you know, in 2012, at the age of 51, he was diagnosed with antituate
Pwede ba Tagalogin mo na yan? Ang hirap.
I will let him do it later. So, and he's a certified genetic counselor and
nice.
Wow. Surgeon at the Triple Army Medical Center, and he played a very significant role in Marines. He loves to adopt different types of positive, encouraging words and really encourage the people to raise awareness about cancer, so especially with colon. So I will not steal the thunder, but Josie, fire the first question.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Dan Drydock.
Hi, Josie. How you doing? Thanks for the opportunity to be on your show.
Why?
Yes. Edward.
Why are you calling yourself as Drydock, and what's the story behind Drydock?
Well, I will enlighten you.
Enlighten me. Yes, I love that.
while I was served on 7 ships during my career, 2 of those ships were actually in dry dock for 14 months while I was assigned to the ship. Then when I retired from the Navy, I ended up playing vintage baseball here in Sacramento with the Central Valley Vintage Baseball Club. Now, they encouraged, now we play by 1864 rules, and they encouraged us to have nicknames that had a vintage theme to them. Mm-hmm. So I figured, well, my home of record is Illinois when I joined the Navy, and that's the land of Abraham Lincoln. Mm-hmm. While I was in the Navy, one of the ships I was on in dry dock was the USS Abraham Lincoln. We had got back from a deployment to the Persian Gulf and went into dry dock for 14 months. So vintage baseball started during the Civil War, and Abraham Lincoln was the president. So I figured, well, it'd only be fitting to have a nickname of dry dock. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, nice. And Rich.
I gotcha. No, so tell us more a little bit about your childhood. Where did you spend your life? Because we were talking about earlier, and it's like, one thing that you made it permanent, because family life in the military, in the Navy, or that's moving around. So talk to us about that.
Well, I grew up in the suburbs of Philadelphia. My dad worked for the Pennsylvania Railroad, and he was an investigator for the auditing department. And his responsibility was to check every train station between Philadelphia and Chicago. And so when I was 8 years old, we moved to the suburbs of Chicago. And then 4 years later, we moved back to the Philadelphia area. Jeez. 4 years after that, we moved back to the Chicago area, and that's where I graduated high school out of. So, we went on vacations in the summertime, the different areas in Western Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Indiana. So when I joined the Navy, I wanted to be able to expand my travels, and I enjoyed the water. And I figured, well, the world consists of 75% water. And I figured, well, I have a real good chance of seeing the world with the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know before the start of the show starts, we talk about the Hawaii and some Filipino connections. So what kind of food, your favorite about the Filipino dishes, Dad? So for our listeners, so that they know.
Lumpia.
Ah!
Lumpia, fresh lumpia or fried lumpia?
I know, Dad. So there's a trick question there. Josie
just fresh or fried?
Oh, fried, but homemade though, not the one you store bought. I like that prepared,
Yeah. Now, Dan, a follow-up question. You're a Navy, but at the same time, you are a genetic counselor.
No, I'm not. I have colleagues that are genetic counselors.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was not listening to you.
No, that's okay. I wouldn't mind being a genetic counselor, but I need to focus on my advocacy for the attenuated FAP mutation that I have.
Oh, okay. So you underwent genetic testing.
Yes, I underwent germline DNA testing that confirmed the mutation. That was back in May of 2012.
In your family, aside from you, who else was diagnosed with cancer?
Well, no one.
Except you.
I'm for the family, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I'm a team player.
Let's talk about your condition. What were your first symptoms?
I didn't have any symptoms. I just knew that when I turned 50, I needed to schedule a colonoscopy, and that was conducted at the VA healthcare, through the VA healthcare system in Hawaii. And as a result of the colonoscopy, 100 polyps were found embedded throughout my colon, rectum, and anus. No symptoms, no family history. So my GI doctor suggested or requested that I go to the certified genetic counselor at Triple Army Medical Center for further evaluation. So I went over there, and that's where they initiated the germline DNA test. They sat me down and explained the mutation that they thought that I had, the type of surgery that would be required if the results came back confirming I had that mutation, and then life after surgery, I having a permanent ostomy.
So then, when you receive the news that you have a big C, what is the first word that crosses your mind at that time? Well,
it was actually a blessing because, I have a strong faith, and I knew everything happens for a reason. My mindset was I tend not to think about things I'm unable to control, such as medical conditions. What I can control is my positive attitude. And after 5 decades on God's green earth, my positive attitude has brought me this far. Why change now?
Because what year was that when you were diagnosed?
That was in 2012.
2012.
Were you always proactive when it comes to your health?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, especially in the military, because we'd have to go through annual physicals and vaccinations. So,
yeah.
And I have always heard that when you turn 50, you get your colonoscopy. Of course, unless you have family history or medical, the symptoms that would require you to get seen earlier.
Mm-hmm. I like colonoscopy. You're laughing, right? Because you know what, Rich? You know why I like colonoscopy?
Why?
Because it makes you sleep. It makes you sleep. I was 35 years old when I had my colonoscopy and endoscopy at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, I had an EGD and a colonoscopy, and that's where they found 100 polyps. So I immediately went over, said to see my certified genetic counselor, and that started my journey.
Mm-hmm. So, Rich, don't be afraid. And Ed, don't be afraid to get colonoscopy.
And then for our listener, I just want you guys to know, Emmerich and Josie, based on this type of cancer, this is the third most common cancer type for Filipino men. Okay?
Yes.
So, and then overall, it's also Filipino has the lowest screening rates for this type of cancer. That's why I invited Dan to really encourage our listeners, the importance and the criticality of why the value of doing a screening and get tested.
Yes, and not only that, Drydock. Mr. Drydock, a lot of younger men and women. Remember, Ed, the daughter of Miss Mariver was only 26 years old. And I know someone who's 17 who was diagnosed with colon cancer. Is that because of diet?
Oh, it varies. It could be, underlying health issues. I mean, there's so many different factors involved, but that's a discussion that, the individual needs to have with their family members and their medical team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
how about in your case? What was your diet before you were diagnosed with colon cancer?
Yeah,
I didn't really have any restrictions. I still don't have any restrictions. I mean, there's, mine was genetic. So, there's certain things that I need to be careful eating now, foods with lots of fiber in them. However, I didn't have any restrictions prior to my surgery. And, other than staying away from high fiber foods after my surgery, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, before the diagnosis, you're eating anything and everything. But are you watching your weight? Are you reading the labels? Or how do you do that prior your diagnosis?
Well, I'm 6'1" and I'm about 180 right now. This is 185 actually today I weighed in. That's the most I've weighed probably in my life. I think I may have been up to 183. Actually, I was 183 last fall. But,
yeah.
But this is the largest I've ever been. Now, of course, after my surgery, I'm going to be losing probably, 15, 20 pounds, but that's just because of the surgery. However, I'm just tall and slender, so I never had any, health issues.
So what's Drydock's having for breakfast and lunch?
It varies. It varies. I love sandwiches. bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches, and
Sounds good.
Been cooking a lot of prawns on the barbecue, shrimp on the barbie. Let's see, tomahawk steaks. Love those. My dog loves the bone, so I have to get him some.
Yeah.
But no, just every once in a while, some fruits, some vegetables, but and then drinking lots of water, lots of different juice. I tried to cranberry juice and apple cider.
And then now you said high in fiber diet.
No, I try to stay away from fiber.
Okay.
Because I don't have a colon, so I cannot process the fiber as because of my system's compromised. However, I can compensate. My small intestine is doing a real good job of taking over as the colon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to your treatment, you told us you had a surgery. Did you also have a chemotherapy?
No, I did not have any radiation or chemotherapy, no treatment regime, because there's no cure for what I have. So once you're diagnosed with the mutation, it's in the best practice of medicine to remove the colon, rectum, and anus and be outfitted with an ostomy, because any of those polyps have 100% chance of developing a colon cancer. So that was the best, like I said, the best proactive measure was to have the surgery. And I knew about that weeks earlier. So when it came time to be told the results came in and confirming the diagnosis, I was ready to have the surgery.
And then, in terms of our listener, I want them to know what are the things that you've been doing for almost decade now, trying to really educate, raise the awareness for colon cancer. So tell us about this proclamation that we kind of talk about in
proclamation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I appreciate that, Edward. Yeah, this is I've been working on an effort for the last 5 years, and it's. What I'm looking to do is get the last week of March, which happens to be next week, designated as Hereditary Colon Cancer Awareness Week. Mm-hmm. Now, there's 7 hereditary colon cancer syndromes, and the one I'm diagnosed with is one of the 7, and mine is the rarest of them. Impacts estimated less than 0.03% of the global population. Now, what I'm looking to do is to get legislative jurisdiction so we can have the 4th week of March designated as HCC Awareness Week. So I was residing in Texas, and 30 months ago when I was there, I was able to get sponsorship from Senator Donna Campbell. She's a medical doctor, and I resided in her district. So she sponsored my idea. She issued her own proclamation from her office, and I asked her if she could put my proclamation or my resolution on the agenda for the next legislature session in Texas, which convened this past January. They only convene every 24 months. So,
why in Texas? You're in California.
Well, I am now, but I was in Texas at the time, and my gut told me to move back to California because I knew that I would have to be coming to Stanford for further evaluation and surgery. So when I came back here, I kept in contact with Senator Campbell's staff, and they said that's no problem. We'll continue to work the resolution. So it's going to be a resolution that's going to be read on the House floor in Austin, Texas next week. And then what I'll do from there is I'll reach across the table to the 2 senators in Texas on the federal side, Senator Ted Cruz and John Cornyn. I'll request they take it to Washington, D.C. to have the 49 states co-sponsor it, as well as the U.S. territories of Guam, American Samoa, and Puerto Rico. So ultimately, what I'm looking to do is have a Senate resolution designated in the 4th week of March as Hereditary Colon Cancer Awareness Week, and this would be indefinite for the entire country.
Nice, very nice.
It will take years to accomplish. I'm battle tested. I'm ready to lead the charge.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Can you believe
That's really
that, Emmerich? He
Yeah,
has that
that's really good.
condition, but still, he's thinking about others.
Of course.
That's what it is.
He's
We're all here to help each other
advocating.
out.
Yes. So,
We pay it forward. This
yeah.
is my life now. To pay it forward to give back to the society and the medical community.
and you would be able to save one life, not even one life, a lot of lives.
Yeah. Well, I send out positive vibes. I get that back tenfold. So, I mean, I'm on your, have the opportunity to share my story on your platform because I was referred by our good friend Chris Lawrence over at Hope Has Arrived and got me in contact with Ed Logan, and here we are.
Yeah, yeah. So what's on that proclamation on that week? What are you planning to accomplish?
Well, it's just awareness for the various medical fronts. I'm a guest on numerous podcasts in India, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, Canada. I'm working on Australia, and I also write articles, guest blogs for numerous organizations.
Absolutely.
In fact, 2 weeks ago, I was virtually paired with Kevin Sutherland.
That's the Hollywood actor.
Huh?
That's the Hollywood actor.
No, Kevin Sutherland, not no. And Kevin Sutherland is a champion golfer, and
They have the same name.
yeah, he played in the Cologuard Classic in Tucson the last weekend of February. There were 81 golfers, and each golfer was paired with either a colon cancer survivor or a caregiver, and I was invited to be paired with a golfer. They selected Kevin Sutherland because he is a Sacramento native, and it was on the Golf Channel. It was global that whole weekend, and he won the golf tournament.
I saw that article.
So he sent me a 23-second video, to me personally, and he's mailing the hat that he wore. He autographed it, and he has a little ribbon on it with my name on it. And so he sent it probably in the mail to me next week.
That's really good. That's really good. I think what you're trying to accomplish, just spreading the knowledge, and then do you know if there's any scientific research that's going on now for medical research for that rare condition?
Well, there has been over the years. Now, the mutation was discovered by the late Dr. Henry T. Lynch. Now, if you've heard of Lynch syndrome, well, Dr. Lynch, that was named after him. Well, attenuated FAP, he discovered back in 1992. And he's the father of hereditary cancer research. Now, my genetic counselor and colorectal surgeon at Tripler Army Medical Center in Hawaii, they were colleagues of Dr. Lynch. So at the time, Dr. Lynch, among other things, was the director of preventive medicine at Creighton University. So 7 months after my surgery, guess who shows up in Hawaii? Dr. Lynch. He was 86 and a half years old, and he came out from academic lectures. I was introduced to him in private by my genetic counselor. Wow. And then Dr. Lynch and I, we collaborated. We sat down after we had lunch after his lecture. We sat down for an hour and 50 minutes. And I always carry a medical binder with me when I go into medical settings. And so he read my documentation, and we remained in contact. In fact, he mentioned that I have a unique case of AFAP, and he considered me a colleague. Now, I have to go through routine endoscopic procedures, so I was sending him the results until the fall of 2018. Now, he passed away in 2019 at 91 and a half years old. He was still going into his office Monday through Friday for 12 hours a day up in about a month before he passed away. So what my purpose in life is to continue the legacy of Dr. Henry T. Lynch and the importance of early detection in hopes of saving lives.
Yeah. and then you giving us as well, and this is what our radio show is all about, our organization as well, is to really collaborate, and really you giving us already a roadmap of how the Filipino American community here needs to be visible. The way you showing some example of awareness, that's why we're here. We're trying to make sure we're visible, we have a voice, we have a platform, and thank you for really inspiring. Especially, when I spoke to Chris, I said, Chris, I can't wait to like continue and have this kind of partnership with Dan. So I really appreciate, because that is really, that the Filipino American community wants to, we want them to hear, why we're doing this radio show. Why is every Friday, every time that we put effort of bringing each story, because we know that each individual story matters, and that's why I said to the team, I'm very excited to to make sure that you have the availability to speak and guest in our show this coming March. So it happened, which is good.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I do have a couple acronyms I'd like to share with y'all.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Well, my mantra is always forge ahead with a purpose. So the impetus on that was, since I was diagnosed with AFAP, that could be a negative in a lot of people's eyes. So I took a positive spin on it. So if you take the first letters of each word, always forge ahead with a purpose, it spells AFAP.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my mantra. So I sign that my signature. And now there's two other words I created acronyms. And the first one is the word adapt. And that's attitude determines the ability for a positive transformation.
Oh, that's
So
amazing. Adapt. Yeah.
It just happened. And we say I had an epiphany. Now the other one, the word faith, just faith in general. What is faith? You look outside, you see the tree branches swaying in the breeze. We're unable to see the breeze, we see the effect of it. So what is faith? Having hope in something we're unable to see. Mm-hmm. So faith to me is full assurance influenced through hope.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
You see that?
Okay, Dan, before we play a special song for you, so how does colon cancer affect your spiritual health? You told us something about faith just a moment ago.
Well, I have a strong faith that I just leave this all in the Lord's hands, and I'm blessed where I'm at with what I have, and I just because like my mantra says, I always forge ahead with a purpose.
Okay, now it's 9:30 in the evening. Stay with us, relax, done. Drydock, we have a special song for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Our special guest is a Filipino American prince of original Filipino music. He won the MOR 101.9 Best New Artist winner in 2014 PMPC Star Awards for Music 2015 New Male Recording Artist of the Year in the Philippines Asian Excellence Awards 2016 Outstanding Recording Artist Award Gawad Musica 2017 Best Male Recording Artist of the Year Recording Artist and Songwriter and W. Copa Multi-Medalist. Wow, awarded awarded singing artist, and he was also the Best R&B Artist Spotlight Awards 2018 Los Angeles, and the Filipino nominated at Asians on Film Festival 2019 in Hollywood, California for Best Music Video. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Garth Garcia.
When it rains, it pours, but you didn't even notice. It ain't raining anymore. It's hard to breathe when all you know is the struggle of staying above the rising waterline. Well, the sky is finally open. stop blowing, but you're stuck out in the same old storm again. You hold tight to your umbrella. Well, darling, I'm just trying to tell ya that there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. If you could see what I see, you'd be blinded by the colors. Yellow, red, orange and green, and at least a million others. So tie up the bow, take off your coat, and take a look around. 'Cause the sky is finally opened, the rain and wind stop blowing, but you're stuck out in the same old storm again. You hold tight to your umbrella, 'cause darling, I'm just trying to tell ya that there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. Oh, tie up the bow, take off your coat, and take a look around. Everything is alright now, 'cause the sky has finally opened. The rain and wind stop blowing, but you're stuck out on the same old storm again. Let go of your umbrella, 'cause darling, I'm just trying to tell ya that there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. Yeah, there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. It'll all be alright.
It's 9:34 in the evening dito po sa ating radio program on the air with FACC. Dan, do you like to sing?
No. I used to sing tenor 10 or 15 miles away. Now I sing solo. Solo, you can't hear me. That was a great song. I need to listen to that one again.
And the message of the song is very nice, right?
It was yes. That reminds me of a quote I heard years ago about the direction of the wind. We may not be unable to change the direction of wind. What we can do is adjust our sails. After 22 years in the Navy, I'm good at adjusting.
Yes, that's a very inspiring.
different things you've learned in the Navy. Well, there's a lot of things that I'm sure you cherish about being in the Navy, but share a couple of things with us and with our listeners.
Well, one of the highlights at the end of my career when I was in Bahrain.
Oh, Bahrain. Yeah, my mom and my sisters.
Arabia.
In Bahrain, my mom and my sister, and then my sister used to work with the Navy.
Yeah, I was there for 2 years, my last 2 years in the Navy, and I actually did my retirement ceremony on the base during Operation Iraqi Freedom. So that was the big highlight of my career. And I've traveled to the Middle East on 3 different ships in 92, 95, and then parts of 2001. Wow. So then we, like I said, I've been on 7 different ships. And my first ship, we spent a lot of time in the Caribbean, various ports down there, and that was our area of responsibility was in the Caribbean. So, but lots of really nice experiences. We got to visit 22 different countries in my career, so lots of memories.
So why did you choose a career in Navy?
Well, I wanted to travel. I enjoyed the water, and I figured since the world has 75% water, I had a real good chance of, seeing the world.
And I forgot to ask you from the beginning. Do you have any siblings, Dan? Like, are you the only child?
No, I'm the youngest. I have my sister is 4 years older than me. My brother is 12 years older than me, and everything. You know, we stay in contact, and they, especially now with my diagnosis, they update their GI team. So you know, with everything that's going on with my health.
What was the reaction when they first find out that you have this condition?
Well, they were very happy to know that I was in good hands at Triple Army Medical Center there in Hawaii. And once, of course, once I got introduced to Dr. Lynch, it even got better because here I had the world-renowned leader. You know, I had, contact with him to share my results of my tests. So they're satisfied with that, and I have numerous medical professional colleagues abroad that I share my journey with to do cross checks and what have you. So they're totally happy with everything, and of course I'm happy with everything. So that's the important thing.
And have they done any as well, like the testing, genetic testing, to make sure, you know, it's just good that, you know, you're raising awareness, and of course they will be part of your advocacy as well, just making sure that they're also part of your giving back to the community. So,
well, they get their colonoscopies when, you know, whether it's every 3 or 10 years. I mean, they have 2 or 3 polyps, and the importance of my sharing my information with them, and they share it with their GI teams. Even Dr. Lynch, before he passed, he mentioned that it's very well possible the mutation started with me because there is no family history. Yeah. And since my sister and brother are older than me, the range for attenuated FAP diagnosis is 50 to 55. And since they were well older than that, there was no need for them to even consider genetic testing, because if they were going to have it, they would have had it.
Yeah, so that's a good peace of mind on their part as well. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Now the thing is, we don't know if it skipped a generation. I mean, so I'm waiting for my second cousins to turn 45 to 50 to see what their results are. But once again, Dr. Lynch he has suspected that my mutation is de novo, meaning that it started with me, and 1/3 of the diagnosis of attenuated FAP are de novo. So somewhere in, my mutation, it was diagnosed in the 5th chromosome. And what we do is
what I heard is that there's some quotation I heard in the past that God gave the strong storm to a strongest soldier like you, the battle, so that you're dealing with. So this is really a good match. With the skills.
I think so. I feel blessed. I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, I just take a negative, turn into a positive, and sharing my journey as a source of inspiration and encouragement is important, and also, it's important to get the early detection, message out there as well.
Yeah. Do you consider it as a blessing in disguise, in a way?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've learned my military experience has equipped me to be prepared to overcome adversity, whether it be on the professional or personal side. So I've taken that, into my civilian life. And once I got diagnosed, I just, like I said, my mindset was, tend not to think about things I'm unable to control, such as medical conditions. What I can control is my positive attitude. So I keep moving forward.
Okay. And what is your lifestyle now in terms of protecting yourself from cancer?
Well, I undergo routine surveillance. In fact, this week I just completed 3 different endoscopic procedures. In fact, it was on Wednesday. And then yesterday I had a CT scan of my pancreas at Stanford University. Today I met with my surgeon, and then my surgery is set for the 7th of April at Stanford University. And what we're trying to do is eliminate or prevent the mutation from manifesting into my pancreas. So we're going to be removing the lower part of my stomach, the beginning of my small intestine, my gallbladder, and then do resection of the bile ducts to the pancreas. And it's a critical surgery. There's only a handful of medical facilities in this country that can perform it. And my surgeon is one of the nation's leading pancreatic cancer surgeons. Now, I don't have pancreatic cancer. However, this particular mutation, when it manifests, the juncture that we're at right now, we need a pancreatic cancer surgeon to perform this particular surgery.
We'll include you, Dan, in our prayers. We have prayer warriors. We have spiritual advisors as part of our organization, because we know that that's also key in our advocacy and awareness campaign. And prayer is really an important component of our advocacy as well. So that's.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, when I want to hope to catch up with your colleague,
Dr. Kabebe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at Stanford. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Dr.
nice.
Kabebe is there.
I'll be there for they said at least a week. I'll be an inpatient. So if he's in the area, he's more than happy to come on by.
Mm-hmm. So with this journey, what has been the most difficult part?
Wow. It's not really difficult. I look at things as challenges, and I try to overcome adversity as best I can. So, no, I wouldn't say any difficulty. I've just been, I've adapted to this lifestyle, and I just want to make sure that I continue with my routine surveillance and continue to research as much as I can, not just nationally, however, internationally, on the what things to look for individuals like myself who have attenuated FAP. There's a lot of medical research that still we're developing for individuals who have the mutation such as mine. So I'm hoping that I could give back to the medical community, specifically the GI teams, the genetic arena. So, but nothing, I don't think anything's difficult to me. I mean, after all I've experienced in the military, and I'm retired, my life is now devoted to being an advocate and, taking care of myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Rich?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask Drydock, if do you have any kids planning to have one? What's your lifestyle there?
No, I don't have any biological children. Honestly, something told me growing up that I didn't want to have any biological children. See, that's where the blessing came in, because when I was diagnosed, I mean, there's a 50% chance if I would have had biological children that they would have a mutation. And
right.
we wouldn't know.
And that's what I was thinking earlier when you were telling the story. Had the doctor kind of discussed that with you? Like, okay, maybe if you have kids, or if you will have kids, if you're the start, it will be passed on to the next or so. And you said you're waiting for your cousins to who's going to be turning 45 to see if it jumps a generation.
Yeah, and that'd be my second cousin. So we really feel that the mutation did start with me. I mean, there's no history. I am working on researching back. The Shockleys come from England back in the 1800s when they came to the States. My mom is a Wilson. She's from, her ancestors are from Scotland. So I don't have a family tree. However, with my brother and my sister and my first cousins, we do communicate quite often.
That's very good.
So no one has come up with anything in the since I got diagnosis 9 years ago, no one has come up with anything pertaining to any, ancestors, any knowledge. My parents are deceased. All my maternal and paternal aunts and uncles, they're all passed as well. So, but no history of any colon problems whatsoever. So,
So when was the last time you've seen your brother and your sister and your relatives, your family? When was the last time you've seen them face to face?
Oh, that was back in 2006. I was out in Philly.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and then
When is the next reunion?
Well, we're planning on. My brother wants me. He's asking. This is going to be next summer, not this year, but next year.
Next summer,
for me to come out. He lives in Kentucky, and he's thinking about if I come out, I can. I'll be able to visit him, and my sister and her husband will come down from Indianapolis, and we'll hang out for a few days. And then I've got a colleague, the founder of the Colon Cancer Prevention Project, Dr. Whitney Jones. He's in Lexington, Kentucky. He's an hour and a half away from where my brother lives. So I could go out there if I do.
It sounds like a caravan for them to go to you, though. Tell them, I know someone from DC drove to San Francisco back and forth.
Route 80. Yeah.
What are you waiting for? Tell them.
We'll see how it goes. But I communicate with my siblings at least every 10 days.
Yeah.
And, my cousins, we message each other, every month. There's a couple, my older cousins, I communicate with them because they're tracking my journey as well.
Very good.
Okay.
So then for our listeners, I know a lot of them probably, either they just probably starting their cancer journey, receiving this. What kind of advice you can give them, and, what kind of, encouragement that you can leave them to make sure that, their journey, I couldn't say it's going to go smoothly, but, it's very unique, and everybody has different type of experience when they have the cancer journey. So, what kind of words you would like to impart to them?
Well, that's a great question. Edward, I would say the first thing I would do is have a discussion with your family members, have the same discussion with your medical team, and do as much research as you can to prepare yourself mentally.
That's right.
Of course, reading about something and actually experiencing it are two different things. However, my personal experience is once I've read as much information as I could about my mutation and the course of action, having the surgery and being a permanent ostomate, at least it made it a lot easier. The thing is, I noticed that we have two choices in life. We can react or respond. And by responding, which is what I try to do, gathering the information so you can make a logical, intelligent decision versus reacting where you could possibly make a rash decision that you may later regret. But maintaining a positive attitude, and is definitely going to help overcome adversity.
Mm-hmm. And throughout this process, Dan, what did you learn, and what has cancer taught you?
Well, what I have learned is there's, for me, for my personal journey, there's not that much information out there about the mutation I've been diagnosed with. So I want to exhaust all resources to share my journey and learn as much as I can and share as much as I can on any platform, whether it be nationally or internationally. And as far as what cancer has taught me is, I had cancer, but cancer didn't have me.
And you have that very strong personality because of your background as well as a sailor or as a Navy.
Yeah, that had a big impact on how I tackled this head on.
Yeah.
Is because the numerous deployments I've had to the Persian Gulf, we plan for the worst, hope for the best. And, it's all about preparation. So, we prepare, to go into to the Persian Gulf. You don't know what's going to happen in there on the ship. Or the ships. So, I took that mindset when I was diagnosed with this mutation, and I don't. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not thinking about ways that what I can learn about the mutation and ways that I can share it on different platforms.
Mm-hmm. So what positive changes now did you see in your life?
Well, the early detection, has definitely had the biggest impact, and my routine surveillance. Absolutely. It allows me to have maintain my my positive attitude, knowing that my medical team will take care of the mutation, and we'll monitor it as we go.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned you have a fiancée, right?
Yes.
Right now. Okay.
Yes.
So what was the impact of cancer in your relationship with her?
Well, we actually met because of that, and she's a retired nurse, and
That's all right.
Last story.
Yeah, and so I can talk.
Oh, that's very interesting. I would love to hear that. Is she around?
Yeah, she's around.
Can we talk to her?
Did you say hi?
We still have 5 minutes. Oh, we still have 3 minutes.
There you go.
Rich, ikaw na.
Maybe next time.
What's her name? What's her name?
Her name is Paula.
Oh, Paula. Hi, Paula.
Hey, Paula, don't be shy. We're harmless.
Yes. We're only going to ask you one question.
She's in the background.
Okay, so she can hear us and we can hear her. Ask the
Yeah.
question, Josie. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Emerich.
Hey,
Ikaw.
you ask the question. You got the question.
I have so many questions. O, ikaw na, Ed.
We'll have to have a different show.
So actually, here's a serious question, but it's kind of light question too. So then, if somebody will be asked, they say, hey, how do you describe Dan in one word or few words? So what will it be? In order to for a listener, because sometimes legacy of a name or like what this person done. So what do you think? When they say, hey,
What's your future legacy or the words?
Oh, what's my legacy?
You're still around.
Someone remember you.
How do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered,
Word.
Mr. Drydock or just Dan?
Drydock.
Dan or Drydock?
Well, I want Drydock because that's a cool handle. That's a good call sign.
Yeah,
But no, I want to be remembered by my mantra: always forge ahead with a purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Life has a purpose.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's also to serve others, right? That's why you're here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
We really
absolutely.
really appreciate your service to the country for so many years.
Yes.
And we also appreciate Paula for her service.
I really want to see Paula.
For her service to our
Dan,
health.
sandali muna, Emerich. I just want to find out. Dan, what, how did it happen? The first meeting.
Where did you guys first met? Oh my goodness.
We met a little over a month ago. Actually, it was we were commenting on a post on Facebook, and then I found out she lived the next town away from me, and that she was a retired nurse because I noticed that she was making comments on some of my posts, and it was questions or responses that you just don't get that from just anybody.
Right.
And then I found out she's a retired nurse, and I'm like, so we started talking medical, and then I said, well, maybe we ought to meet. And
that's it.
The connection there, the chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. It's chemistry. Yeah, but it's divine intervention.
Exactly. That's
Yeah. And so
Facebook.
we're down here for my appointments this week. So she's been attended all my appointments. I always say she's my adult supervision.
Nice. And when did you propose to her?
Oh, not so fast. After the
Paula, come on up.
surgery, I'm in trouble now.
Paula, come on up.
You see, that question set up.
It's coming.
We have a chapter 2 of the interview.
That's right. To be continued.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
That's good though.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
we hope the best, no, for you and Paula. And thank you so much. You have that fighting spirit. Your personality says it all. You have that smiling face. I can really tell that this person is there for others. You know, he's willing to serve others by doing all this advocacy and awareness. And what you're doing right now, like, you have that proclamation in Texas. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, it's been a long time coming, and like I said, it's a daunting task. It's going to take years to accomplish. I'm battle tested. I'm ready to lead the charge.
That's awesome.
Okay. So lastly, do you have any more messages?
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to share my journey on your platform, and look forward to being a guest after my surgery.
And we are looking forward to seeing you here in Virginia and DC.
That could be possible. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. When was the last time you were here?
Virginia, I was in Vienna back in let me see, Vienna and Ashburn. What is it?
Ashburn, Loudoun County.
Ashburn. I was out there in 2007 for about 2.5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I went over to Annapolis and had some she crab soup on the weekends. Yeah.
Nice.
But, no, it's been a while, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm kind of dropped anchor out here in the Sacramento area.
Mm-hmm.
So stay in Drydock from here on out.
Yeah. Dan, we're going to send you an invitation, and Paula as well, for one of our future events.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Look forward to it.
Thank you so much, Dan Drydock.
Drydock. Shockley.
Oh, Dan Drydock Shaklee.
We really appreciate your time and Paula's time. And I know you're preparing for to do a little bit of tourist activity tomorrow. And we wish you the best, especially for your surgery. Please let us know if you're going to be in town or whatever. You can message us, and you're always welcome right here on the air with FACC.
Awesome.
Okay.
Look forward to collaborating with you all in the future.
Yes, we'll keep you in our prayers. And when you come here, we're gonna feed you lumpia.
Absolutely.
Freshly made.
Paula, tell Paula she has to learn the Filipino food too.
yeah, we're all in the same boat.
Okay, thank you so much to all our followers, viewers, and listeners dito po sa PHLV Radio Show on the air with FACC Ed.
Thank you and enjoy your weekend, guys. Appreciate again for your support.
Absolutely. For all of our Persian listeners, Nowruz Mubarak. It's tomorrow at 5:37 a.m. is the spring starts.
Oh, yeah.
So have a good one.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dan.